The urban legends of ancient Egypt. Is it a real possibility or just a figment of humanity's imagination? A mere urban legend? Is this rumor ultimately a good thing or a bad thing? Tonight, once again, we'll examine whether it's true or not from a Japanese perspective. Episode: The Urban Legends of Ancient Egypt. The Great Pyramid of Giza is the only one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world still standing. It was built, according to the official timeline, by a civilization that had not yet invented the wheel, using copper tools, with a workforce of human beings who had no cranes, no pulleys, no steel, and no machinery of any kind. They allegedly cut, transported, and placed 2.3 million stone blocks, some weighing up to 80 tons, with such precision that the gaps between them are too small to slide a human hair through. They oriented the structure to true north with an accuracy that modern builders, using GPS and laser technology, struggle to replicate. They positioned it at the exact center of the Earth's landmass, the single geographic point that sits at the intersection of the longest line of latitude and the longest line of longitude crossing land on the planet. And they did all of this, if you believe the standard account, in approximately 20 years. The math doesn't work. The engineering doesn't work. And the more carefully you examine the official explanation for how the pyramids were built, the more it starts to feel less like history and more like a story someone decided we should believe. What was ancient Egypt? What did they actually know? And what have we been told to stop asking? Part 1. Introduction. Egypt is the most studied civilization in human history. Thousands of archaeologists, historians, linguists, and Egyptologists have spent their careers inside its tombs, beneath its sands, and inside its temples. The volume of academic literature on ancient Egypt is staggering. And yet, the most fundamental questions about this civilization, how they built, what they actually believed, what the pyramids were actually for, remain, at their core, genuinely unresolved. The official answers exist. They are taught in schools. They appear in textbooks. But the official answers require you to accept a series of assumptions that, when you examine them directly, rest on surprisingly thin foundations. Egypt fascinates millions of people not because of romantic fantasy about pharaohs and mummies. It fascinates people because the evidence left behind by this civilization consistently exceeds what the official explanation of that civilization can account for. Every time archaeology thinks it has Egypt figured out, the ground opens up and produces something that doesn't fit. And we're going to look at what doesn't fit tonight. The engineering impossibilities, the forbidden chambers, the artifacts that shouldn't exist, the chamber that ground-penetrating radar has found beneath the Sphinx, and that no one has been allowed to open. Part 2. Background. The conventional timeline of ancient Egypt places its origins at approximately 3100 BCE, the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt under the first pharaoh, Narmer. The pyramid-building era, known as the Old Kingdom, runs from approximately 2686 to 2181 BCE. The Great Pyramid of Giza is attributed to Pharaoh Khufu and dated to around 2560 BCE. This is the official history. It is supported by extensive archaeological evidence, inscriptions, administrative records, worker villages, tool deposits. But here is what the official timeline struggles to account for. The civilization that allegedly built the pyramids appeared, in historical terms, almost overnight. There is no gradual development visible in the archaeological record, no primitive version of Egyptian culture slowly evolving toward complexity over centuries. What appears instead is a civilization that emerged at what seems to be near full sophistication. Advanced writing, advanced mathematics, advanced astronomy, advanced architecture, arriving in the record with a speed that has no parallel in any other known ancient culture. This is not a fringe observation. Mainstream Egyptologists acknowledge the apparent abruptness of Egypt's emergence. The explanation offered is that the relevant developmental stages occurred in a period before the surviving record begins. That explanation is possible. It is also, by definition, unprovable, and it requires trusting that the record we have is representative of what existed, a trust that Egypt has repeatedly punished. Part 3. The complete story, the engineering problem that won't go away. Let's start with the structure that defines the entire mystery. The Great Pyramid contains approximately 2.3 million stone blocks. The average weight of those blocks is 2.5 tons. The heaviest blocks, the granite slabs used in the king's chamber, weigh up to 80 tons each and were transported from Aswan, over 500 miles away, to complete the pyramid in 20 years, the time frame the standard account requires. Workers would have needed to place one block every 2 minutes, around the clock, every day, for the entire 20-year construction period. No breaks, no delays, no time for the logistical challenges that moving 2.5-ton stones through a desert creates. The blocks fit together with gaps measured in fractions of millimeters. The four sides of the pyramid are equal in length to within 4.4 centimeters across a base stretching 756 feet. The structure is level to within 2.1 centimeters across its entire base, an area of over 13 acres of desert terrain. Modern engineers who have studied the construction challenge have consistently concluded that replicating it today, with modern equipment, would be extraordinarily difficult. Some have said it would be essentially impossible to match the precision using current methods. The standard explanation is that it was accomplished through massive organized human labor, wooden sledges, water-lubricated ramps, and extraordinary logistical coordination. This explanation is coherent. It is supported by some archaeological evidence, worker settlements, administrative papyri, tool marks. What it cannot explain is the precision. Organized human labor on wooden sledges does not produce millimeter-level accuracy across 13 acres. That level of precision requires measurement tools and techniques that have not been found in the archaeological record of the Old Kingdom. Something achieved that precision. We don't know what. The orientation problem. The Great Pyramid is aligned to true north, not magnetic north, which shifts over time, but geographic true north, with an accuracy of 0.05 degrees. That is more precise than the Greenwich Observatory in London, which was built specifically as a precision astronomical reference point using modern instruments. The pyramid's four sides face the four cardinal directions with an accuracy that can only be achieved through astronomical observation. The methods available to ancient Egyptians, the stars, the shadow of a vertical rod, the rising and setting of the sun, can, with sophisticated technique, produce accurate cardinal alignments. But 0.05 degrees of accuracy requires a level of precision in those methods that pushes against the limits of what the human eye and basic instruments can achieve without magnification. There is also this. The three pyramids of the Giza Plateau, Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure, are arranged in a pattern that mirrors, with notable accuracy, the three stars of Orion's belt in their position relative to the Milky Way as they appeared in approximately 10,500 BCE, not 2,500 BCE, when the pyramids were built. 10,500 BCE, 8,000 years before the conventional construction date. This correlation was identified by researcher Robert Bauval in 1983 and published in peer-reviewed form in 1994. The astronomical data behind it is accurate. The Egyptians' deep connection to Orion as a sacred constellation is well documented in their own religious texts. What the correlation means, why the pyramids would be positioned to mirror a star configuration from 8,000 years before they were built, has never been adequately explained by the mainstream. The Sphinx in the water. The Great Sphinx of Giza is officially dated to approximately 2,500 BCE, attributed to Pharaoh Khafre based on its proximity to his pyramid and a partially preserved inscription. In 1991, geologist Robert Schoch of Boston University published a paper arguing that the erosion patterns on the Sphinx's body are inconsistent with wind erosion, the type of weathering you would expect from millennia of desert exposure. The patterns, he argued, are consistent with water erosion, specifically heavy rainfall erosion. The problem: the Giza Plateau has been a desert since approximately 700 to 1500 BCE. For the Sphinx's body to show the kind of rainfall weathering Schoch describes, it would need to have been built before the region became desert, potentially as far back as 10,000 BCE or earlier. Schoch is not a crank. He holds a PhD from Yale. His geological analysis was reviewed by the Geological Society of America and, while debated, was not dismissed as methodologically invalid. Several independent geologists have since reviewed his work and found it credible. The mainstream Egyptological response has been that the water erosion patterns can be explained by other mechanisms: condensation, wind-driven sand carrying moisture, changes in the water table. These explanations exist. But Schoch and his supporters point out that the depth and specific character of the erosion on the Sphinx's body exceeds what those mechanisms can account for. If the Sphinx is older than the standard timeline, if it was built by a civilization that existed before recorded history, then everything we think we know about the development of human civilization has a chapter missing. The hidden chamber. In 1996, a team of researchers used seismic testing equipment to scan the bedrock beneath the Sphinx's paws. The testing, conducted with the approval of the Egyptian government, detected a cavity in the rock beneath the Sphinx's front paws. A chamber, rectangular in shape, approximately 9 meters by 12 meters. The chamber has never been opened. The Egyptian Supreme Council of Antiquities denied subsequent requests to excavate. In 2015, ground-penetrating radar surveys of the area around the pyramids detected additional anomalies, including what appeared to be a large void or cavity within the Great Pyramid itself, separate from the known internal chambers. That in 2017, the Scan Pyramids project, using muon tomography, a technique borrowed from particle physics, confirmed the existence of a previously unknown large void above the Grand Gallery inside the Great Pyramid. The void is at least 30 meters long. It has no known function in any proposed construction theory that a chamber beneath the Sphinx's paws. A 30-meter void inside the Great Pyramid, both detected with modern scientific equipment. Neither opened. Why not? The dendrolite. This is the moment where the story enters territory that mainstream archaeology has struggled to categorize. In the Hathor Temple at Dendera, Egypt, there are carvings on the walls of the inner chambers that, when studied by certain researchers, including electrical engineers, bear a striking resemblance to a functional description of an electrical light bulb. The carvings show a large bulb-like object, inside which a serpent appears to float. The serpent interpreted by some as a representation of a plasma filament or electrical arc. The bulb connects to what appears to be an insulated cable. The object rests on a lotus flower, which the ancient Egyptians used as a symbol of illumination. Austrian electrical engineer Walter Garn compared the relief to the design of a Crookes tube, an early vacuum tube that produces visible light when connected to an electrical current. His comparison generated significant discussion. The mainstream Egyptological interpretation is that the carvings are purely mythological, a representation of the creation of light in Egyptian religious cosmology, not a technical diagram. Both interpretations are plausible from the visual evidence. The carved object does not come with a caption, but the question the carvings raise is difficult to dismiss entirely. How did a civilization without, according to the official timeline, electrical technology produce a carved image that independent electrical engineers describe as structurally consistent with an electrical light source? Did they imagine something that happened to look exactly like what we later invented? Or did they depict something they had actually seen? The Baghdad Battery. This detail rarely makes it into the Egypt conversation. It should. In 1938, German archaeologist Wilhelm Koenig discovered a collection of objects in the National Museum of Iraq that, when assembled, function as a galvanic cell, a simple battery. Clay jar, copper cylinder, iron rod. Fill it with an acidic solution like vinegar or wine, and it produces approximately 1 volt of electricity. Dating of similar objects from the region suggests they were in use as early as 250 BCE. Over 2,000 years before the official invention of the battery in 1800 by Alessandro Volta, the mainstream explanation. The jars were used for storing sacred scrolls, and the battery function is coincidental. But experiments have demonstrated that these objects, when connected in series, can produce enough current to electroplate metal to deposit a thin layer of gold or silver onto a base metal object. An analysis of certain artifacts from the ancient world has detected anomalous thin metal coatings that are consistent with electroplating. If ancient cultures in the Middle East were using electrical cells 2,000 years before their official invention, the implications for what ancient Egypt, which shared the same cultural and technological sphere, might have known and used are significant. Part 4. Theories. The standard archaeological theory, the mainstream position, the pyramids were built by organized human labor. Tens of thousands of skilled workers, not slaves, who were fed, housed, and compensated by the state. The precision was achieved through sophisticated surveying techniques using stars, plumb bobs, set squares, and water-filled channels as leveling instruments. The construction took approximately 20 years under extraordinary organizational coordination. This explanation is supported by real evidence. Worker villages at Giza, administrative papyri, the discovery of a workers' harbor. It is the product of serious scholarship by serious people. What it cannot fully resolve is the precision gap. The millimeter-level accuracy across 13 acres of desert, achieved without the measurement instruments that would make such accuracy reproducible. The evidence for the method exists. The evidence for how the method produced that specific level of precision remains incomplete. The lost civilization theory. This is the position held by researchers like Graham Hancock, John Anthony West, and Robert Schoch, that the monuments of Giza predate the conventional timeline by thousands of years, and that they are remnants of a civilization that existed before the last ice age and was subsequently destroyed or catastrophically disrupted. The supporting evidence: the Sphinx water erosion. The ore-iron correlation in its 10,500 BCE configuration, the anomalous sophistication of early dynastic Egypt, the global distribution of flood myths describing a catastrophic deluge that destroyed an earlier advanced civilization. Hancock's 2015 book Magicians of the Gods and its follow-up America Before make this argument in detail, drawing on geological, astronomical, and archaeological evidence. He is not a trained archaeologist. He is a journalist. His work has been criticized on methodological grounds by mainstream scholars. But the geological data he cites, Schoch's erosion analysis, the evidence for cosmic impact events at the end of the last ice age, is data generated by credentialed scientists in peer-reviewed contexts. The interpretation of what that data means for human prehistory remains genuinely contested. The psychological and cultural theory, the academic mainstream, explains the enduring mystery of Egypt through the psychology of pattern recognition and the human desire for the past to be more extraordinary than the present. We underestimate ancient people. This argument goes, because we associate technological sophistication with material modernity. Ancient Egyptians were not primitive. They were intelligent, organized, mathematically sophisticated, and capable of achievements that their material toolkit, applied with sufficient skill and scale, could genuinely produce. The precision of the pyramids is real, but it is achievable through techniques we know they had. The Sphinx erosion is real, but alternative explanations exist. The ore-iron correlation is real, but may be coincidental or may reflect intentional astronomical alignment without implying an earlier construction date. This is a coherent, and defensible position. But it requires explaining away a collection of specific anomalies, each of which, individually, might be coincidence, but which collectively form a pattern that becomes progressively harder to attribute to chance. The ancient advanced technology theory. This is the position that mainstream archaeology explicitly rejects, but that a significant body of engineers, physicists, and independent researchers find difficult to dismiss. The argument: the construction of the pyramids required a level of engineering precision and logistical sophistication that implies knowledge of physics, specifically of acoustic resonance, precise geometry, and potentially of electrical or electromagnetic principles, that the standard timeline does not credit to Old Kingdom Egypt. Researcher Christopher Dunn, a precision machining engineer who spent his career building jet turbines at Danville, Illinois, argued in his 1998 book The Giza Power Plant that the Great Pyramid's internal geometry and material composition are consistent with the design of a large-scale acoustic resonance device, a structure designed to convert the Earth's vibrational energy into a usable power source. His engineering credentials are real. His analysis of the machine tolerances exhibited in Egyptian artifacts, including granite vessels drilled to specifications that modern CNC machines struggle to replicate, is detailed and has not been directly refuted on technical grounds. Whether he is right about the power plant interpretation is a separate question from whether the machining precision he documents is real. The precision is documented. What produced it is the open question. The conspiracy theory surrounding Egypt is specific and directional. That beneath the Giza Plateau, in the chamber beneath the Sphinx's paws, in the tunnels that ground-penetrating radar and seismic testing have detected, there exists a body of knowledge, artifacts, or physical evidence that would fundamentally revise the official history of human civilization, and that the Egyptian government, in coordination with certain academic institutions and potentially with other governments, has made a deliberate decision not to open those spaces. The documented facts that support this framing are limited but real. The chamber beneath the Sphinx was detected in 1996. It has not been opened. Requests to excavate have been denied. The rationale offered: preservation, methodological caution, administrative process, is the standard language of institutional delay. Whether that delay reflects genuine archaeological conservatism or deliberate suppression is impossible to determine from the outside. What can be said is that a rectangular chamber detected beneath one of the most scrutinized archaeological sites on Earth in 1996, with equipment that could characterize its shape and approximate dimensions, has not been opened in nearly 30 years. That is a specific fact. Make of it what you will. Part 5. Deep Analysis. 3 specific points where the official account has edges that don't line up cleanly. First, the precision problem. The standard construction theory can explain how the pyramids were built at scale, organized labor, sledges, ramps. It cannot fully explain the precision. These are two separate questions, and the archaeological evidence addresses the first much more convincingly than the second. Saying that ancient Egyptians were capable of extraordinary organizational achievement does not answer how they achieved sub-centimeter accuracy across 13 acres without the measurement instruments that would make such accuracy reproducible. The question has not been answered. It has been absorbed into the general claim of Egyptian sophistication and left there. Second, the chamber problem. The void detected inside the Great Pyramid by the Scan Pyramids project in 2017 is 30 meters long, sits above the Grand Gallery, and has no function in any currently proposed construction theory. The team that detected it, using particle physics instrumentation, was composed of scientists from Japanese and French universities. Their methodology has been independently validated. The void exists. Its purpose is unknown. No explanation has been offered that accounts for why a 30-meter empty space exists inside a structure whose every other internal feature has a proposed function in either construction logistics or religious ritual. The absence of an explanation is itself information. Third, the origin problem. Every other known ancient civilization shows a developmental arc in the archaeological record, a visible progression from simpler to more complex forms. Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley, ancient China. You can trace the steps. Ancient Egypt does not show that arc in the same way. What appears in the record at the beginning of the dynastic period is a civilization already in possession of advanced writing, advanced mathematics, sophisticated astronomy, and complex religious philosophy. The explanation that the developmental period occurred before the surviving record is logically possible and archaeologically unverifiable. It is, in the strictest sense, an assumption. And it is an assumption that the evidence consistently pressures every time a new discovery doesn't fit. Part 6. Modern implications. The stakes of getting Egypt right have never been higher, because the tools for getting it right have never been better. Muon tomography, the particle physics technique used to find the void in the Great Pyramid, can image the interior of stone structures without disturbing them. It is non-invasive, scientifically rigorous, and capable of detecting chambers and passages that are completely invisible to traditional excavation methods. Ground-penetrating radar surveys of the Giza Plateau have produced results that have not been fully published or acted upon. The technology exists to map what is under the sand and stone of one of the most significant archaeological sites in the world, with a level of detail and accuracy that was science fiction 20 years ago. The decision of whether to use those tools fully and to open what they find is not a scientific decision. It is a political one. It involves the Egyptian government, international academic institutions, and the question of what a significant revision to the official timeline of human civilization would mean for a very large number of established careers, textbooks, and institutional positions. Science is supposed to follow evidence wherever it leads. The history of how Egypt has been studied suggests that, in practice, the evidence has sometimes been followed selectively, and that the questions most likely to produce inconvenient answers have sometimes been the questions most consistently left unasked. The void is there. The chamber is there. The tools to investigate them exist. The question is whether the will to actually look follows. Part 7. The final question. The Great Pyramid has stood for 45 centuries. It has outlasted every empire, every religion, every political system that has risen and fallen in its shadow. It has been studied by more people, with more resources, over more time, than virtually any other object in human history. And we still cannot fully explain how it was built. That is not a romantic mystery. That is a specific, technical, engineering problem that the most advanced civilization in human history, ours, right now, with all of its computers and cranes and laser measurement tools, cannot definitively solve. Beneath the Sphinx's paws, there is a chamber that has been known to exist since 1996. It has not been opened. Inside the Great Pyramid, there is a 30-meter void that has been confirmed since 2017. It has not been explored. In the temple at Dendera, there are carvings that independent electrical engineers describe as structurally consistent with an electrical light source. The official interpretation is mythological. Every one of these facts is documented. None of them require conspiracy to be troubling. They are troubling on their own terms, as a collection of unanswered questions about a civilization that we claim to understand. So, I want to ask you this directly. What do you think is in the chamber beneath the Sphinx? And if it turns out to contain something that changes what